And welcome back to part 6 of our My Hockey live from the Garden intermission show, intermittent, kind of all over the place show. And I'm joined by Boston Globe's Cam Carey. Cam, welcome to our little set here.
Thanks for having me on. This is great.
Yeah, we're having fun. So after one period of the Division III championship, Marblehead leads Nauset by a score of 1-0, and a pretty competitive first period with a great crowd. Probably our best crowd of the game. So what's the story through one period?
I love Marblehead's speed. I think Kyle Hart made that first goal go, right? You see him take it wide. They've operated with a lot of speed throughout that neutral zone, able to gain zone entries, even though I thought Nauset played a good first period. But Radovsky gets denied on a partial breakaway with that left pad. He comes back, he's on the back post, there's his redemption, bang.
Yeah, it was a great play coming around the net and
Absolutely.
Just a backdoor tap in. So you've been here since, I assume, 9 in the morning.
Yeah.
And actually I saw you at 9 in the morning. I think half the press box was still asleep. And kind of what the day of hockey as a whole, how's it been so far?
This is my favorite day of the year. I mean, it's a celebration for 12 teams. I mean, really 6 at the end of the day, but it's such a great day of hockey. The first game we were really treated to, just a gem. I mean, that was a fantastic hockey game. Vanessa Hall deserves a shout out for playing every minute into the 3 overtimes.
Every single first, second, and third overtime didn't get off the ice.
Unbelievable.
Blocking shots, the whole thing.
That was a great game. DS Weston, opportunistic, but what a season they've had. Yeah. And credit to Alex Marlowe taking his alma mater to their first championship. And then Duxbury, I think, just showed how complete of a team they are.
That was a dominant win from Duxbury, top to bottom, as they have all year. All of their losses were to Division I teams. They didn't lose to a D2 team all year. And let's look forward. So coming up after, hopefully, ideally, 2 periods to stay on schedule of Nauset and Marblehead. We have Winchester and St. John's Prep. What's kind of the lowdown in Division I championship?
I think that's going to be a great game. You have a Winchester team which is playing with unmitigated confidence, and they rightfully so, right?
Yeah.
What they've done to get here, 3 overtime games and then beating CM in that fashion. But they are playing on paper, which obviously games aren't played on paper, a complete St. John's Prep team coming off a real masterclass against Severian. That first line for St. John's Prep can really go. Johnny Ty, Christian Rosa, Jake Vanna, and then guys like, Cam Umla, Mason Luciano, they're so complete.
Yep.
Winchester has a lot of speed. We're going to see how fast they can be, because that's a quick St. John's Prep team that can play with all snarl.
Yeah, I think so. I think the first 5 minutes of that game will kind of tell the story for the next 40.
Absolutely.
Because that's, if one team jumps out quick, both teams have scored in the first 5 minutes of a lot of their playoff games. And, if it's still at 0 through the first 5, I think that favors Winchester. And
yes.
I think the longer it goes as a tight game, I think it favors Winchester. And then looking forward to the D2, our nightcap that will probably go off at about 10 o'clock. That Tewksbury offense, I am on the record saying Tewksbury's a top 15 team in Division I. So what does Boston Latin have to do to pull off that upset?
I agree. And it's really hard to beat a team 3 times, right? Tewksbury's gotten the upper hand twice. What I love about Boston Latin is what Bobby Banks has been able to do this postseason. He scored once during the regular season, 5 goals this postseason as a defenseman. He had both against Duxbury. He had the overtime winner against Bill Ricca.
Yep.
That team is so led offensively by Matt Carrara, Aiden Fitzpatrick, but they're going to be facing a really tough test in a Tewksbury first line that scored over 80 goals. I mean, Insomnia's got 37. Matt Cook's got 24. Tyler Bourget, just a sophomore, 23. So how do those guys match up, and who's going to be that depth guy to step up? Because Tewksbury's going to come, and they're going to come hard.
Insomnia, I believe, hit over 100 career points this year, the senior for Tewksbury. And Nauset Marblehead are taking the ice. Should be a fun 2 periods coming up. Turn over to that on NFHS. Jake Levin on the call over there, and we'll wrap up over here. Enjoy the second period.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you. And thank you.